Welcome back to the URG Podcast. Today, man, special is not even the correct word. This is not a special guest. This is a legendary guest. This is someone who I look up to, who without him, there would be none of this. And, the guy who gets it done, dirty work, Juwan.
There we go. In the building. Thank you for having me, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Rock and roll. We in the building right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we've known each other for like a while now, which is pretty crazy.
Man. Yeah, man. Gone through it. I watched you grow. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been a blessing to watch you grow, and to watch everything come to fruition around you. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to be given the vision, or to be given the tools, and there's one thing to actually use them, right? So a lot of people, they're kind of like information hoarders. They'll go ahead and like get all the information, but they don't necessarily put it to use. You know what I mean? So it's really, really, really a blessing for me to actually see, or actually to be able to teach someone something and then they actually take it and run with it. So, I mean, it works. It works. You know what I'm saying? You're living proof that it works, and that's a beautiful thing.
Man, and I mean, I kind of want to talk about a few things, but I feel like from just outside of music, like from the perspective of, life, being a man in this world, like especially like with a lot of the things that happen with today's society and stuff.
Specifically, what though?
Like
that's the question. Specifically, what? Because manhood entails a lot of things, man. You know, like, and I think a lot of us are still finding ourselves as men. You know what I mean?
I think about it a lot from the standpoint of being confident in what I'm saying and like standing on it.
Mm-hmm. Standing on business.
Like,
yeah, there we go.
That's like the biggest thing, because I mean, I was always a little bit more on the, I wouldn't say I'm introverted, but I would say I'm non-confrontational, like.
Got it.
And then, but there's a way to approach certain things without it being like a ugly. Like, confrontation doesn't have to be like a bad thing, but from the standpoint of, okay, you gotta realize what you want in this world as a man, and make sure that it aligns with what your values are, and
definitely,
and stand on it, and just take it as far as you can. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I definitely dig what you're saying, man. Like, it's like, like as a male. Sorry, as a man, right? That's not to offend nobody, you know what I'm saying? Because we're in a completely different time zone as far as life. It's all about discipline, right? Disciplining yourself, setting a goal, and executing, right? So, we've talked about this before, off camera, but, we go through different stages, man. Like from fresh out of high school, teenage, into like your 20s. Like your 20s are your mess up years. You know what I mean? Like you like that's where you make a lot of mistakes. You're supposed to make mistakes, right? That's how you grow. That's how you want to fail forward, right? And then your 30s, you kind of like get this sense of, okay, now it's time to quit playing and execute. You know what I'm saying? And then when you hit your 40s, you know what I'm saying, you pretty much reap what you've sown over the past 20 years. And you get into a place where you start to settle, like hopefully by the time you're 50 as a man, like you've settled, house, kid, like pretty much everything that you thought you would have, or the places that you wanted to be, most likely you end up there, right? So I would say to all the youngsters out there, dream big, shoot for the stars and hit the moon, right? So because 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up exactly where you're supposed to be, and you should be content with that, because truthfully, that's what you spoke into existence, and that's what you asked for. So be prepared for the universe, the creator, whatever you want to call it, to give you exactly what you asked for. But dream big. That's pretty much all I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes people don't take into consideration how consciously you have and how vividly you have to kind of envision things. But I don't know, lately I've been feeling that there's a certain element of like that element of grace, you know what I mean, of
Mm-hmm.
you know, you could plan and do all this, but to a certain extent, like I feel like we're on a
Trajectory.
set trajectory. I
Trajectory.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
there's just certain
yeah,
things that
yeah.
have happened, at least in my life in the past, even just the past couple years, that it's
Mm-hmm.
like this had to have happened in
Yeah.
order for this,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I had to have been in a place where I was like, fuck it. Then to where I met you, to where we did this, to then this happened. And then, like,
Mm-hmm.
all the things that could have happened and
Mm-hmm.
did happen and didn't happen along the way to
Mm-hmm.
get there. And it's like, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that I feel like is, I don't know, out of our control to a certain extent.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what they say when we make plans, God laughs. I mean, if you really want to think about it, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, I don't know, what a lot of people believe, but, if you do have faith and you put your faith in the creator, like, literally let whatever you believe in drive. And I believe that you will thrive. If you don't, that's when things tend to go the opposite direction. But, not for nothing, but and on the other hand, I would definitely say meet it halfway. So always be doing something. Always be doing something, right? It may not, even if you feel like you're about to fall on your face and just fail, right? Because then you know what not to do, right? So the biggest thing is figuring out what not to do, so that way you know what to do. And once you find out what works, just keep pressing that button, keep pressing that button, keep pressing that button, man. So I mean, because truthfully, that's what I did. Because I've been at this whole music and entertainment thing for a very long time, and it took me a minute to get to where I'm at now, and I don't regret anything. Like I've been homeless probably 3 times. Not a lot of people know that. I guess the world knows it now, but yeah, I've been homeless 3 times. But it finally broke for me. I just had to, first and foremost, check my surroundings, check who I was rolling with, and then really focus and double down and stand on business. Right? That's kind of that's kind of the thing. So, I mean, for anybody who's watching or whatever, whatnot, anything is possible. Anything is possible, because you can look at any social media at any given time and somebody's on top. The problem is the attention span right now. So, but it's definitely possible. But once you get to that point, what do you do with it, right? How do you monetize? How do you how do you capitalize on that situation? And I think a lot of people are actually lost in that because they're in it for the wrong reasons. So like a lot of people, because like I always ask, and I think I asked you this too. I always ask, artists and people that I work with or anybody in business. I'm like, okay, are you in this for the money or for the fame and clout? And if you answer it wrong, then I don't work with that person. Because for me, the thing that makes things move is money, right? But if people are in it for clout or fame, then their morals are actually in the wrong place, because that means that they'll do anything to get ahead, even screw you over, right? So you have to really be aware of who you surround yourself with, what kind of energy that you're putting, in the ether, man, or the people that you're surrounded, because guilt by association.
Do you think the same applies to money though?
Well, so a lot of people say that money is the root of all evil. Not necessarily. It's what you do with the money, right? But genuinely, and I believe this to be true. Like if you're a piece of crap of a person, then the money's just going to amplify that. If you're peace loving and you genuinely like to help people and you want to build something, then money's definitely going to amplify that. And you'll notice it, and you notice it by certain people's movements, certain people's businesses, the people that surround them, how well their business is doing, the people that work for them, how happy are they, like you can see it, right? Because people are genuinely excited to be around specific people because they exude positivity and they exude just success in general. And it's not a fake thing. It's just like they've always wanted to step into that, and they genuinely want to help. And people who make the most money are people who genuinely are trying to solve a problem and who are genuinely trying to help, not necessarily trying to help themselves. Because when you see the people that are genuinely trying to help themselves, you end up finding out scandal, or they did this person wrong, or this happened, or they embezzled money, or da-da-da-da. And then you see the fruits of their labor, right? So, it's kind of like a no-brainer, to be honest with you. Like if you really look at the whole thing, It's like looking at kids in high school, whatever, whatnot. It's like all the cool kids who want to be cool, and then you look at the geeks, right, or the people who aren't as cool. But if you look at people that run the world, geeks run the world, right? The people who weren't that cool are mainly the ones that are getting the bag. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Like you look at Apple, right? You look at Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Like they were focused. They were focused. Now they have generational wealth.
Yeah.
Not worried about how they look, like how they're dressing, how they talk. They just kept their head low and said, "Don't look at me. I'm doing something." Right? Yeah.
Do you think with creating, like,
Mm-hmm.
and we could talk specifically about music, but I think it would apply to all arts.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think creating with a mindset focused on money creates a different product or a different output than creating without a mindset centered on money?
Okay, so now don't get it twisted. Don't misconstrue that. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying to create from a place of only wanting to get money, but a lot of people who are creative miss the fact that there is money in their creativity. That's what I am saying.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of artists who do their art, but don't get paid the money that they're due for their art, right? And then some artists hoard their art so much that they never even gave it a chance to bring them fruits of their labor, so that way they can eat and they can live, right? Because they're too busy holding on to it, right? But when it comes to creation, if you're holding on to your creation, you don't make any room for more you don't make any more room for anything else to be created, because you're still focused on the last thing that you created versus inviting the next thing in. But that last thing that you created needs to go somewhere. It can't sit on your computer. It can't sit on a canvas stuck in your closet somewhere. It can't be some wrought iron sculpture just sitting in your front yard, right? You created it for a reason, right? You want the world to see it. Well, you know what I mean? If the world wants to see it, why shouldn't you get paid for your art? That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. Like the idea isn't to create with the mindset of making money, but the idea is, okay, if I'm gonna create, now that I live in this world, like, and there is ways to monetize it, and if you're not really trying to do that, or if you're not doing it in the sense of the most that you can, that you're capable of, then you're not taking advantage of your own art and your own creativity.
Exactly.
And because I mean, at the end of the day, with music, the more that you spread it, the more that you can help somebody's day get better, or help somebody relate. So if nobody hears your music, then nobody's gonna know that you're dope. And then, like, it's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, like,
exactly.
Did the tree fall? If you made a banger and no one hears it, like, you didn't make a banger. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But there's an old pimp saying that the game is to be sold, not told. Yeah. So if you, and especially when it's like going to school, right? If you go to school for 4, 8, 12 years to master something, shouldn't people pay you for it? If you really think about it, right? So if you spent 5, 10, 15 years grinding, trying to master your craft at mixing, engineering, or editing, or creating music, or writing songs, or singing, or playing piano, or playing guitar, don't you think you should get paid for your expertise? Because you are now technically an expert, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't really see it that way. I mean, honestly, I didn't, because the first time somebody offered me some money for my music, I was like, "This is a thing." Okay. Like, I was shocked. Yeah. Like, I'm sitting, like we were in a studio. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? We were just hanging out. I was like, "Oh, you just a cool dude." My man, shout out to my man, Cliff Griff, and we was in the studio just chilling, and I was just playing some stuff, because I was young. I think I was probably maybe I just turned 21 when I got my first house, my first studio, and we're just hanging out, and then I remember standing in the doorway, and he was like, "Yo, so how much do you charge to to write a song?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, 500. He's like, "Okay," and I was like, word, that works.
In his head, he was like, "That's it." Like
That's it. Like in his head, I was like, man, I undersold myself,
Yeah.
right? And then I remember being on the freeway, and this is like circa Y2K, like 2000, like 2000 had just happened, right? Websites like the .com boom was like the thing, right? So, and I remember manifesting like at a very young age. I was in the car. I was like, you know what? I need to do music for websites. Yeah, I need to do music for websites. That would be awesome. That would be awesome, right? And then then one of my boys called me. He's like, hey, I got a client that needs music for his website. And I was like, yo, for sure. He's like, so I was like, so what do they need? He goes, well, we need like little 8-second clips, and we need about 2 of them. So I think I was using a program called Acid Pro at the time, bro. Like this is back in my PC days, right? Don't shame me, right? Because we Mac users now, but anyway, and he was like, yeah. So I'm like, what's the budget? And he's like, well, how much do you want for it? I was like, I don't know, 1,000. And he was like, all right, done. I was like, yo, I can make a whole business out of this. Just writing. And when I tell you how, like, this is like the first program that was actually able to time stretch and time compress audio files and loops.
Acid was?
Yeah, one of the very first programs that was able to do that.
Wow.
Right. That's why they say. Well, that's why in certain programs, time stretching is called acidizing. Right. So
Really?
so like Apple Loops actually use that technology, right? To where like where it actually timestamps and goes in and looks at all the transients, and so you can stretch and get in on a granular level. So I got in there. Oops, sorry about that. I got in there for about a half an hour, bro. Half an hour, and I just put some loops together. Right now, mind you, I had an MPC and I had all this other stuff. I had big modules, and I'm in there playing. I was like, you know what? I was like, hold on a second, right? I think I'm working too hard. And I was just like, let me check out a couple loops, whatever, because I was gonna sample something anyway. And I was just like, so I stacked one, stacked another, and I'm just like, and I looped it out, and I had a little break. It was 8 seconds long, and I was just like, let me do another one. Do another one. Sent it in. And I was like, oh yeah, bro. They wanted all of them. I made $3,000 in a half an hour, bro.
Damn.
Yeah. It was nuts. It was nuts, and I was like, and this is back like 2000, 2001.
And you know what? I think a shift is kind of going back to, because for when the internet first started, I guess there was not as many people. Well, like the first people to use the internet and like making websites and doing music for all that, they did it. And then it got oversaturated, and then it was like a lot that you could access from. But I feel like now they're cracking down on like copyrights and on all of that stuff. So
yeah,
like how TikTok took down all the Universal music earlier in the beginning of the year and things like that. So
I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I think that Universal wasn't getting paid. Their performance royalties the way they were supposed to, or even mechanical royalties, either or, and the situation just wasn't lucrative for both of them. Like, don't quote me, I don't know, but that's just my thought on it. But yeah, like I think that, and actually that's one of the reasons why I actually don't sample, and I haven't really sampled. If I do sample something, it's probably like a kick drum or a snare or something like that. I don't even really sample anymore because there's the industry is so upside down, and the monetization of music is so upside down that everybody's scraping to get money, because it's not like it used to be. I mean, for all you kids out there, it's like, oh man, I got 1 million streams on my Spotify, or I got 1 million streams on DistroKid. You might make you might make about $3,000. $3,000 to $3,400 off 1 million streams. But if you had 250,000 streams on radio, you probably go buy something real nice, right? So the amount of money that we're making off of streaming platforms versus the way that things used to be is exponential. So put it like this: something that would get you like maybe 15 million streams on, let's say, like a placement on like Netflix or something like that, you might see like maybe 300, maybe $400. But on actual cable, if you were to get like maybe 3 spins on like real cable HBO or something like that, it might be like $600 off of 3
Damn.
versus 15 million. That's how upside down streaming versus traditional performance royalties are right now. So I mean, I definitely understand why people I definitely understand why people don't really want to add music to their websites or and stuff like that is because a lot of people, like a lot of youngsters, don't really understand copyright laws. So even if they're making these packs, they're sampling from other people and they're trying to change it, but they don't understand that they got software for that. They will find you, right? And they're pretty much plagiarizing and then calling it their own and trying to make a quick buck off somebody else's work. But nah, man, like that's why I watch a couple people on YouTube that are actually really dope at creating soul samples and stuff like that, and from scratch. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. I don't sample because I make my own samples.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I agree, and but I see that shift. I see the value change of streaming and the royalties that come of that.
Mm-hmm.
I also see the opportunity of because people don't want to do it, or they understand that. I feel like there's not as much talent because for a while everything went electronic, and it takes about maybe 6-7 years before you get really good at an instrument. And for a while people weren't learning instruments. I feel like the rate at which people learn instruments, it went down at a really great level. So now the quality of music is relying on AI, which is relying on everything that's been made in the past. So it's like,
So there's nothing new for the future.
the level of musicianship,
Yeah.
there's not. But then I mean, that's bad for people, but I guess that's good for people that can play and create or that want to take that initiative, because now you're more, if you're dope at an instrument, you're more rare, and as more time goes by, the more you're gonna be even more rare because
Exactly. Well, I mean, there's a disconnect in general. Like there's a disconnect in general. So for some strange reason, like between like my generation, I would say your generation, right? There's a big disconnect. Like I call it the microwave baby syndrome. So no, seriously, and not for nothing, and I'm not mad at y'all, because please, by all means, do what you do, go get your bag. If you're getting paid, I don't care what you do. Just live your life. But do know that there are foundational rules to everything, right? And when somebody comes in and just says, forget the rules, right? Like literally, you know what I'm saying? And there's a respect level that comes with this. Like you kind of spit in the face of the people who came before you that worked really hard trying to build something, right? So if you're not taking time to learn at least a little bit of music theory, or even tune your ears so you can actually hum a melody, or possibly even play one hand on the keys but understand exactly what you're doing, and if you have that knowledge, it actually makes you way more dangerous. And I think that if more people spent time learning music theory, AI wouldn't even be a factor. People would just laugh at it like, oh, you're not going to replace me, because the human element does exist. And we've had this conversation before, and I'll break it down, right? So when people say, hey, I dig your vibe, right? I always say, well, what's a vibe? And they say, I don't know. I'm like, well, a vibe is a frequency. What is a frequency, right? A frequency is a note, right? So we are creatures of sound. So a lot of people don't understand why they even like music, or why they even dig certain things. It's like, how can you tell how people are feeling? By the tone of their voice, right? So when you put AI up against a real individual, the real individual understands why people are feeling, or hopefully you do if you're making music, why people feel the way they feel when they're blasting these vibrations or frequencies or notes at people, right? So, it's all emotionally based, right? So when you have the right rhythms that makes that ass shake or makes your head bob a specific way, and you put it with a specific melody, and specific vibrations or chords, vibrations that make people feel a certain way, and you know which ones to put together, then you've got them. But an AI is just guessing, right? It may sound good and truthfully, and this is the one thing that I always ask people, and I'll ask you this, and maybe and then we'll get back to it, but
Okay.
maybe you can answer, maybe you can't, but hopefully you can answer it. So most people don't have a sense of pitch, right? So they can't hear the pitch changing going up or down, right? Most people don't have a sense of rhythm. The average person doesn't have a sense of pitch or rhythm. So what are they listening to? I'll wait. Like, you really got to think about it, bro. So what are they listening to?
You know, okay, I don't know the exact way to say it, but I'll explain it like this.
Okay.
I have friends
Uh-huh.
that I love to death, but they have no rhythm.
We love you all.
And they have no sense of melody. But their favorite songs, they can sing it on beat and sing the melody. Not great, not perfect, but they're able to stay on beat. But I could tell they're not following the rhythm. They're following just the entirety of
The structure,
of the
right?
song.
Okay. So I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's a feeling. So the first time you heard your favorite song was like, oh, this sounds good. Or was it something inside of you that wanted to jump out of yourself? Like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
It's that vibration, bro. So when people say, oh, I resonate with that, your body's like a bell, right? If you're hit with specific, like, to get super deep, you know what I mean? Like, if you're hit with certain vibrations, your body's going to react a certain way. It's going to expand or contract, right? In the beginning, the word was with God. And he said, let there be life. But he spoke. You see what I'm saying? And that's what people don't understand. It's like, we like, everything, you think it, you speak it, you do it. Right? And it's the same thing with music. But like, a lot of people don't really correlate that, which is one of the reasons why I don't listen to a lot of things, and I don't let a lot of things into a lot of specific music or vibrations into my circle, because it does affect you. It can affect you.
And you're probably more sensitive to it because you've worked so much within it. And
Yeah.
Just from, I mean, because it comes from the standpoint of us as human beings, we're molecules that are vibrating too. So we're vibration. So when sound waves hit us, the molecules interact, you know.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But I think the way that we are as humans is based off of whatever our experience is, like everything that our environment and all that.
And music can trigger, right? Can trigger memories, trigger emotions, right? Put you right back in a state of infancy. Like, I remember this song when I was like 1 year old. Right?
Or like a jingle, you remember the commercial exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
See it, you're watching it in your head.
But a lot of people walk this earth and never even put two and two together, right? It's like watching a scary movie with no music. It's not scary, right? It's the vibrations that are leading you to that next point, right? Or an action movie, right? Or any TV show or movie at that. You know what I mean? You know, it's the music that really drives it. Like you got to be a really dope actor to do stage and do theater, right? Like I have mad respect for people who do theater and like stage acting, because there's nothing supporting you but you, right?
That's how I feel about comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God,
yeah,
I seen some comedians the other day, and I was
yeah.
on stage. I was like, yo, I would never do that.
yeah, bro. Like, it's a tough crowd out there, man. Like, you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one and they all stink. You know what I mean? That part, bro. That part. Yeah.
Fuck your opinion.
Fuck your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, everybody just keep opinions to themselves and just keep it pushing and just be peaceful and just create, man. Create. I don't care what it is. You know, everybody has a creative side. You know, whether it be drawing, whether it be professional shoe tires, or, you know, so if you tie shoes for a living, do your thing. Like, just create, like, because I've seen some pretty cool stuff on TikTok. I'm like, yo, I want to talk about shoes like that. That's fresh. You know what I'm saying? Whoever created that, you know what I'm saying? Thank you, TikTok. That's awesome. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, just do it and do it to the best. Just know that, you know, talking to people who doubt themselves, like, for every 100 people that don't like your art, there's probably 10,000 people that love it, or probably 1 million people that love it. And a lot of the times, us as creators and artists and musicians, we tend to forget these things, and not put stuff out because that's garbage, or you don't think it's good because you created something that's like, oh, I don't really like it. But try playing it for people that have never heard it. I guarantee you get a completely different reaction. You're like, you like that? You'd be like, yeah, that's hard, huh? Yeah, you love that. You know what I mean? Your whole attitude changes. So I mean,
Wait for this part. Wait for this
part. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? I put the little poop in there. Like, that was hard. You know what I'm saying? Bars. So I mean, like music is subjective. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody thinks that they know music, especially people who don't do music, which is awesome. I find that funny, but yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, because I know there's probably people out there that are more in tune, I guess. Like, I think our audience is musically inclined.
Oh, yeah. I can dig it.
And I feel like, there's certain levels across genres. I think it doesn't matter with the genre, but I think there's this is a personal theory. Okay. That
speak on it.
I think that there is a correlation with like how much, I guess, struggle you experience to how good you can use an instrument. That could be singing or playing. And I feel like it comes from what we were talking about from the energy standpoint. Like, because if you experience certain things, then you can express it differently through your art. So I feel like the more experiences you have within, certain things, and I know I said struggle, but I guess more experiences.
Bro, it's energy in, energy out. Like a lot of people probably don't even realize that how you're feeling when you make the music is 9 times out of 10 how people are going to receive it when they listen to it. Like, to be honest with you, I've done it several times. Right. And once you get to a specific level, not to degrade or put anybody down, but once you get to a certain level, you really understand that. And you're like, okay, what I mean? Like, I think you get to a point where you know exactly what to play for who and when. Right.
Or what you need to do during the day before you go create. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, I think, and to touch on another subject, I think a lot of reason why there's a lot of like substance use sometimes in the studio, right? We all been there. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like you don't know. It's legal out here, right? is to disconnect, right? So therefore they're not thinking, which is actually the best place you want to be when you're creating. You don't really want to put too much thought into it. You just want to like see what the universe has for you, right? To kind of connect. But sometimes that can be a bad thing because there's really no intent, right? Yeah. So sometimes it could send mixed messages, right? So we're all human, yeah. But like I'm not saying not to do it. You know what I'm saying? No. Everybody does it. Like I do it. I love it.
I've found though personally that I've made some of my best work completely sober. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. Well, I've been in the studio with a lot of different people. And there's some people that cannot do anything sober. So,
yeah, exactly.
And I don't knock it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody got their process, and I think you get stuff made.
But actually, I think a lot of that comes from like inhibitions, right? So like a lot of people are afraid of the other people in the room or afraid of themselves, right? So once you learn to let go and just really let whatever's in you out, good or bad, dope or complete ass trash, then that's when you start getting to it. Because I mean, truthfully, you got to get the trash out first. So I mean, like, for your house to be clean, you got to do what? Take the trash out. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, there's gonna be trash, or what you perceive to be trash, because perception is a mother. I'll tell you that much. And you really have to learn to let go. Like I was told a while back by one of my mentors, you got to be willing to bleed. You got to be willing to bare your soul, right? And be completely transparent. And your music will stand for itself. And it works. It works, man. Like, stop thinking. You know what I mean? Like, I remember watching an interview with Michael Jackson, and I forget who was interviewing, and but I do know it was a female, and she said, so when you're dancing, what are you thinking about? And he's like, think. That's the worst thing you can do is think.
Yeah, that's some cold ass shit right there.
Yeah. And that's what he said. I was like, yo, like I feel that because I come from a dancing background as well. So like I've been dancing for forever and ever and ever. But like when I'm dancing, I'm not thinking. And the second I've tried it, and the second I start thinking, that's when things don't work. And I'm like, oh nah. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be in, like, it's a feeling. Everything is a feeling. It's one feeling that leads you to the next feeling, next feeling, next feeling. And then you're next thing you know, you're on a journey and you end up someplace and like, yo, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome. It's like coming from the club to an after hour spot and you end up in freaking Jamaica 2 days later. You're like, dang, how did I get here? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I just started following people. you know what I mean?
Yeah, but isn't the sunrise nice?
Yeah, right. Isn't the sunrise nice? I don't care how I got here. The fact is that I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And enjoying every part of the process on the way there. Right.
Yeah.
Trust me. There's a lot of parts of especially this music process that are hella mundane.
Mm-hmm.
But the end result is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, you know, I can mix, but I hate mixing. I can edit, but I hate editing. Like, I'm a singer, and, like, I use Melodyne like nobody's business, but sometimes I hate tuning vocals. Mm-hmm. I don't have time. It's like, man, I'd rather create, you know. But those are necessary things that add to the collective, I should say. So.
Okay, I wanted to ask you because I feel like and nobody that I know can answer this better. But can you explain to people why an MPC is an instrument, not a tool? First of all, is that true? Is the MPC? I guess it would be both, but
no. I believe that the instrument. I believe that the MPC is an instrument. I believe that you know turntables are instruments.
Because
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that, you know. Not the producers, but the beat makers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and there's people out there that don't understand the way that you use tools, even if you don't play an instrument,
mm-hmm.
even if it's like a MIDI
Mm-hmm.
software,
yeah, whatever it is, yeah,
hardware. I mean, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That the way you use it
mm-hmm.
is.
It's unique to everyone.
The uniqueness.
Yeah, it's unique to everyone. So. Yeah, I could definitely say that the MPC is definitely an instrument because, you know, once you have everything loaded in that thing, you know what I'm saying? So first it starts out as a tool. Then it turns into an instrument because once you really get into it and you learn how to play it, because it does output musical notes, you can play chords. Once you really get into it and you start, you know, pitch bending and adjusting velocities on the fly and adding effects, and you know what I'm saying, you're performing. So anything you use to perform with is an instrument. Like hell, your computer's an instrument. A lot of people haven't figured that out yet. They just think that the problem is that a lot of people think that the computer's going to do stuff for them. But
it kind of does now with AI a little bit, but
it does, but it still takes human interaction. Yeah. Right, like the music comes from one place, and that comes from you. It does not come from the computer, right? So like it's an instrument itself. It's like the multi-timbral instrument, you know, if you really think about it. So like the digital age. So and another thing, everything that's in the computer is just a digital representation of a physical model, right? So if you're looking at an SSL channel strip, right? There's real SSL channel strips, right?
People don't know that. Like, there's people that are just start. And I'm not knocking. Like, this is educational purposes. That there's people that don't understand that a lot of the softwares and even the pianos or the synthesizers or organs.
Those are real things. They're modeled after real things, right? Like, look at Arturia, right? The CS80 or the modular, right? Those are real pieces. Like we can take a trip right around the corner to the homie studio, and he's got a couple of them, right? And even the way that these DAWs work is similar to an actual console. Like you have a mixer, right? You have an input and an output. If you look at a physical mix console, it works the same way. The only thing that in most DAWs you don't see is an actual patch bay. The only or patching in and out. The only one that you would see that in is Reason, right? So, like Reason's probably the only one that's a little bit more true to an original analog studio. But for the most part,
can you? Because I don't even understand that. What does that mean?
Oh, patching?
Yeah.
Oh, so pretty much like, like just like your little your console over here where you have your EQ or your compressor EQ, um, mic pre, right? So if you have multiple, you would have a patch bay, so you can have the inputs and outputs routed to that, so you can take one cable and plug it into a different one, right? So in other words, you're rerouting, but you're physically rerouting versus like sending or busing. But you're taking a cable to actually do it, right? See, you see what I'm saying?
So
Like,
so it's kind of like
yeah.
it's like making a preset with hardware. Because
Yeah,
are you saying
yeah,
like because
yeah.
you have like the stacks, like you're going, oh, I want to use this preamp with this compressor,
Exactly.
and that's going with this cable to this channel.
Exactly.
And then instead of, okay, well, this person uses, or we're using an instrument for this channel, and this requires X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, this chain, this signal chain, yes.
That's why when you see like those big studios that have like the walls with all of the analog gear, it's all those different patches.
On the other wall next to the console, you normally see the patch bay.
Okay.
So if you see that little square panel with all little silver like quarter-inch, or I don't think they're quarter-inch. They're like in between like 1/8 inch and quarter-inch cables, like click 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 click. That's what it's for, and everything's labeled. So you can send a 1073 through a LA2A, you know what I'm saying, or a 1073 into a CL1B, and then from the CL1B you can split the channel and go into a reverb, or you can actually do that from the console. Like there's all, like, or you can reroute it back into the mixing, reroute it back into the board, and then reprint it back into Pro Tools or Logic or whatever DAW you're working with. So yeah, man, like, but all this digital stuff that you guys, you young whippersnappers are working with is a digital representation of a physical thing. That's, I mean, so how dare somebody say that anything that's sold in Sam Asher, Guitar Center, or Sweetwater isn't an instrument? They wouldn't be selling it unless it was an instrument.
Facts.
So duh, right? Exactly. Or used to aggregate or put together, or to create a collective of instruments so they can all work together, right? So, I mean, like I said, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one, and they all stink. I mean, I watch mine, but I don't know about everybody. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. So what have you been up to lately, bro? Because I walked in the room and I'm like, oh, okay, we got a podcast going on. So like let's jump on this. Like we haven't had a chance to speak in a while. So what's been going on?
I mean, been working, been building up the studio, building up brands. We got URG Fest going on later this year.
Okay. I will definitely be there for that this time, man.
Yeah, it's the final one. We're gonna do a trilogy and end it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so are you doing the MC battle this time, or what's going on?
No. I mean, we'll have more events. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just not URG Fest. So
Okay,
we'll
okay,
do
I got
like we wanna start going crazy with that. But
Okay, cool.
yeah, I mean, and I've been just trying to enjoy life and save my money. You know what I mean? Stay out of trouble.
Invest it.
Invest.
Invest it, bro. Invest it. Put it right back into yourself, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because I mean, like you need to make like the money needs to come together, have sex, and make little babies. You know what I'm saying?
Baby bills.
The baby bills. I'm saying the baby bills grow into big bills. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah. Like that's the one thing I can say right now. That's one thing that I learned, in my earlier, younger age, is don't put it away, make it move for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes to the same thing for intellectual property or as we know as music, right? It's like the pimp game, man. Like each track that you create or each song that you create, throw it on the blade, say bring my money. Period. You know what I mean? And it will happen. And it will happen. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people out there that have stories that are like, oh man, the first time I made money, selling my music or licensing my music or something like that. It's a great feeling. I mean, like I can honestly say I happen to be like a little jaded now because it's like, because it happens, so often. Like I kind of look at my statements and I'm like, ooh, I wonder what I got placed, right? Am I as excited about it as I was? No, I mean, like, well, if it's a show that I really love, yeah, because
Gots to be
because I used to love. Well, actually, I'm actually rewatching it. Ray Donovan, you ever seen that show?
No.
Oh my God, if you've never seen Ray Donovan, that show is crack, bro. Oh my God, they have you right down the street screaming at the sky, what the, right? But I looked at my statement. I was like, yo, I got a placement on on Ray Donovan. Oh, I'm lit because it was my favorite show. So but other than that, did some stuff for like the Olympics and all that kind of stuff, which was cool. You know what I'm saying? I get a chance to not necessarily be in the Olympics, but part of me seeing the Olympics. So that's awesome. You know what I
Basically,
mean?
got the gold. Got the gold in music.
He got the
you know
gold
what
in
I mean?
music. Yeah. So we're good. So we're good. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So yeah, well, that's good, man. Like, I'm really proud of you, bro. Really proud of you. I mean,
Yeah.
like the studio looks great, man. I came in like, oh, like you got new this, you got new that. I'm like, man, for sure. I need to come over and get some yo mist, man. Get some yo dust. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I
Yeah.
say it every time, man. I'm so grateful that I met you at the time that I did in my life, and that we're still able to sit down and talk is a huge blessing, and
Oh no, man.
I'm super grateful.
Bro, like, I mean, honestly, like, so when I was younger, my mom was always like, yo, you should be a teacher. And I was just like, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't like people. Right? So, but as I got older, I just, for some strange reason, I don't know if she just like wished it on me or something, or put some kind of like, you gonna be a teacher, you know what I'm saying? Like, subconsciously, she just kind of Jedi mind tricked me into becoming one. Like, I don't know what happened, but no, like, I've always found pleasure and peace in helping people, man, and just watching people grow. I mean, to the point where it's like I've helped a lot of people, and a lot of people have gone on to do great things. If they ever look back, it doesn't bother me. If they look back, bless them. You know what I mean? But like, I like making sure that people are straight. I mean, like, that's kind of like my MO. You know what I mean? So when I met somebody like yourself, and especially being serious about it, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and for like a lot of my students, and if you're watching, you know what I'm saying, please pay attention. If you're serious, you get the best of me. You know what I'm saying? If you're not serious, you get about 60%, right? But you were serious, so you got the best of me. And even still, you could call me at what, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll pick up and be like, what's up? What you need?
Facts.
And I'm answering
And
questions.
it goes
But
the same
both
way,
ways,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? Whatever,
Exactly.
Whatever you need to.
Yeah.
Wherever
So,
I can.
Yeah. That's it, exactly, man. So I just want to make sure that that you're growing, and if there's any way, like, even after you're grown, if you need to grow more, if there's any way that I can help, like, I'm always there, because for me, that's what what real friendship and real brotherhood is, right? You started out as a student, but you became a master in your own right. So, shoot, one of these days you'll be teaching me something, bro, and I hope you do. To be honest. Yeah.
I can't picture that happening.
Oh,
But
you know what? I was just in the lab with my man Todd Robinson, right? Because I'm gonna talk about your ass right now. So I met my man when he was like 13 years old, man. We've been friends since the 90s, and he just got a Grammy. Actually, like 2 of them, I think, for Victoria Monet.
shit.
Right, yeah, that part, right? And we're sitting in the studio because I was having a problem with a mix, and he's like, bro, this mix is dope. Like, you tripping? I said, nah, bro. I said, this is what you do, right? Like you do this. I do a myriad of things. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I go, I'm asking you because you just proven to the world that you do this, right? And he's like, yeah. Well, he starts running me back through it, because I had mixed in Pro Tools in like probably like 5 years, man. And it was so funny because like he did that. I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm just soaking up game, and I'm like, and I'm really watching what he's doing. I'm like, yo, like, I would have never thought to do that. And I'm explaining this to him, just humbling myself, because like now I'm in the student seat. And then he's like, yo, let's cook up. And I was like, cool. So I turn on Logic, and he sits down. Now, he's a Logic user too. And we sit down, and I'm just like, going. And he's just like, yo, he's like, man, he's like, bro, I got to sit with you and do this. And I was just like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, each one of us comes to a level of mastery in our own thing, right? And there will come a time it's like, yo, because like I said, like, I don't know much about social media and all that stuff. Like, I feel old, man. Like I feel old, bro. I feel really, really old sometimes. I'm like, man, but I keep young people around me to keep me young. So, but yeah, like, you never know. I might hit you up like, hey, bro, so how'd you do that thing with the thing you did on that track, bro? That was kind of fresh, bro. Like, you like, I think you stumbled on or something. You know what I'm saying? You need to show me that. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. Trust me. Might happen tomorrow. I don't know. Let's cook up.
That's why we're here.
You already know what it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit. And I think one of the I guess will be one of the last things I guess we can talk about. I think all that comes from the school of, you know what I mean, real motherfuckers, you know what I mean?
Standing on business.
Standing on business.
Standing on business, right? Yeah, man.
And like, I don't know, I think one of the first ways that we really connected to was you were showing me a lot of like cool hip hop, which I feel like kind of back in the day, it kind of was, you know, it had all those things that we kind of been talking about, like within the core of that, which I think we've always kind of related to a little bit. And a lot of motherfuckers don't know, like, where hip hop like really came from, and
real hip hop.
And it's crazy because of the disconnect that happened, you know what I mean, with the generation of the internet and the electronic sound and all that. But I think you know, hopefully there's a little shift going on that's kind of,
I think there is, bro.
Relating back to
I think there is, right? And you know, shout out to Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, for being one of the last of the greats, or last of a great era that's actually in the industry doing it right now. But I thought it was a breath of fresh air, man, because like, you know, here I am talking to this kid who was like, you were like, what, like 19 years right now, 18, 19, like fresh out of high school, and he's like, yeah, man, I rap. I'm like, let me hear that shit, right?
Pressure was on.
Right,
the pressure was on.
Right, and he starts spitting, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you rap, like, okay, you know what I mean? You're not one of these hubbity bubbity wubbity wubbity fuck with your bitch type rappers. I was like, okay. I'm like, who do you listen to? And when you told me, I was like, all right,
yeah.
Now I FUX with you. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
then it took a few years, and then I was like, oh yeah, I listened to this. He's like, oh yeah, I met him. Oh yeah, I work with him.
Yeah.
I came up with him.
Yeah. Been there, like, you know, been there, done that, man. I've been around the block a couple times, man. Been spinning the block. But yeah, man, like that was definitely a breath of fresh air, man.
Do you still listen to hip hop? Do you listen to music ever?
Honestly, man. I don't let a lot of stuff into my like into my circle. So like if somebody suggests something, I'll definitely give it a listen. But for the most part, I don't really listen to music anymore, bro. And it kind of sucks, cause I'm like, I don't know, cause I've been doing this going on, probably about 30 years, man. Like since I was knee high to a cricket, I've been like doing music, man. Like from like a 4-track, like an actual reel to reel, like with a razor blade cutting, trying to make my edits. And I had it rough because I had to read the manuals. Wasn't no YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't really listen to music right now. I mean, I'm really honestly hoping that I can find somebody that inspires me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of sucks. Like every now and then I'll hear it in random like EDM producers, because I know what it takes to actually dig into the sound design and actually do stuff, and or actually the vibe that I'm fucking with right now. And if you're not fucking with it, or if you haven't, like I've been fucking with it for the past like 2 years, and I have a lot of music like this right now, but nobody's really, like, people are just now catching on. Like Afrobeat is like more the commercialized stuff. If you're not listening to Amapiano, you're tripping. You know what I mean? If you haven't heard of Amapiano, after this podcast is over, I'm going to play it for you. You're going to be like, oh. And then watch what happens to the industry, bro. I promise you. Like, because you hear it on TikTok, but you probably don't know what it's called. Right? But yeah, bro. Yeah, it just feels good. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what that is, but
yeah.
We're going to throw it on after this
yeah,
podcast.
for sure. Yeah, if you're not listening to that, like any creators out there right now, like get ready, because the face of like Afrobeat and R&B is going to change drastically, and it's going to be the next big thing. Like, you know, Timbaland, when he first hit, you know what I'm saying, that's because he went to Africa and was studying talking drum. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, like those rhythms, you know what I'm saying? It's those rhythms. But if you notice, there's only one instrument that defines a style of music, and that's the drums. It's the rhythm of the drums that defines the style of music. And if you pay attention to that, you'll always be ahead of the curve. And that's my last little bit of wisdom I'm gonna leave y'all with. Yeah. So
Thank you guys. Thank you, Juwan. Dirty word, the legend.
no problem, bro. No problem.
I mean,
I'm nobody, but I'm somebody. So I love you guys. Like anybody out there, I love you. I love you all. Peace, love, blessings, and I hope that you succeed in everything that you do. And don't let it. If you got haters around you, cut your grass, get the snakes out of there, and just keep pushing. Because anybody who says you can't do something is mad because they pussy. That's all I'm saying.
we finna drop the mic on them with that one. You know
Drop
what I mean?
the mic.
Hello.
And we out.